we have predictive AI, which we've been doing for a long time, a decade plus. We have generative AI, which has been on the scene for, let's say, 2+ years. And we have the new belle of the ball, which is agentic AI, which is lots and lots of conversations over the past day and a half around that. Of those three modalities, which one are we most excited about in terms of transforming the marketing process? Who wants to grab that?
I can take it. Generative AI is sort of the thing that we've all been talking about. It's about the ability to create. It's really about helping individuals become more productive, create content, writing, imagery, videos, and such. And you hear a lot of talk about that. But what we're now seeing is this shift to agents, which is really about performing tasks, taking actions. And so you're no longer just prompting, you're working alongside this entity that is basically tasked with doing a thing. It could be booking a ticket on a travel site or buying a product online, but it's really about automating the task and leveraging AI to do that work for you. And that is the next chapter that we're now entering in AI.
So you don't want to choose one, you want to do two. Generative and
I think, one doesn't replace the other, it sits
okay.
on top of it. So like, predictive AI, which is what people used to call machine learning, like
yes.
recommendations, next best action, that's still very much a thing, but everything is really additive. It's like layers on a cake, and now we're in the agent side, and now you're hearing more about orchestration and how workflows and tasks and processes come together to produce some end result.
Hector?
I'll just add there that I agree with him, but I think just as a practitioner of, we have built internal agents, we've been testing different platforms. The fundamental thing that I think still sort of needs to be solved for is, if you're not a data-centric organization where you have your plumbing right, you know where your data sits, how it's sitting, how it's talking to each other, then that's where agentic AI doesn't give you the full scale. So for me, I would say as a practitioner in this space, the thing that I've learned over the last few years or so with testing and learning is, without that plumbing, no matter what you do, you don't solve for the real business value from an enterprise perspective.
Amen, totally agree. Michael or Wax, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I wanted to build on the additive part and talk about that from a channel perspective, because that's the part of this that I'm really excited about. So agentic commerce as an incremental channel to what we have available to us today, right? And that's sort of how we look at the world from Criteo, that these new technology advances that we have, they typically don't replace anything. We still do email marketing, we still do direct mail, right? Nothing ever goes away is the phrase I use. And agentic will be no different than that, right? And I believe further that it's incremental to the sort of efficacy of the channel mix that we have today, right? Because it fills a use case for discoverability that's actually not very well met today. And so this notion of additive really strikes a chord with me, but maybe more from a channel perspective, and that's a lot of how we're shaping our roadmap against that in the next couple of years.
Okay, Wax, anything to add or no?
I guess a little bit of a hot take on the other side of it is, I still think we're scratching the surface on the generative side, and it feels a little bit like we've jumped the shark right into the world of agentic, not just in the world of marketing, but also in our own personal lives as consumers. Right? I don't know if we as individuals and people have adopted any technology as fast as this, but I think agentic takes it maybe that step further. So no, just maybe the fact that I think agentic is the most exciting, but at the same time, there's still a lot of runway, if you will, with the.
Okay, cool. One more jump ball. So many teams are testing, right? Many teams are trying, they're exploring, they're in pilot mode often. What is the tipping point that takes a brand or a marketer from testing to a scaled proposition? Maybe after I said I was going to do a jump ball, but maybe you're the best to answer that.
So what we've seen is typically, you encourage people, like from a technologist perspective, I have to wear both hats. There's a security perspective because we're a public company, but then there is, how do you rally these change agents in your organization to adopt AI? So I would say it's top down, that, hey, we as an organization are going to be AI first in X number of years, let's just say. And in that journey, we have to have a workforce that is ready to do that. So top down is the narrative that we're gonna do this. It's an uncharted territory, we know we're gonna test and learn, but one clear deliverable is that everyone in the organization has to be able to talk, learn, and speak and work with AI. Because it's not an enemy per se, but it's something that's gonna help you. So I think it's a little bit of both that we are trying to take.
Do you want to answer that?
Yeah, I would agree 100%. Like when we deal with a lot of our customers, many of which are Fortune 100 companies, what we hear the most is it's a cultural change, it's an issue of change management. And to do change management effectively, you do need that top-down mandate. You also need people bottoms up who are willing to embrace this change. And quite frankly, people who are willing to fail at it. And the way I see it is sometimes with AI, you're not gonna get it right the first time. You're learning a new skill. It's not a tool so much as it is a system that you need to adopt to in order to change how you work to get the right outcomes. And so therefore, as a result, you need to think about it as it could be a step back, it could be 2 steps back, but it's 10 steps forward in terms of what you will eventually be able to do when you use it right.
Okay, we're gonna do this one, everyone's gonna take a stab at this, right?